beginning of, I guess we're past the beginning of the semester, but beginning of the semester, I always tell young people I work with to write goals. Write them down and be very specific. Write academic goals, social goals, athletic goals, spiritual goals, and community goals. And literally work every week toward the attainment of those goals. Secondly, I already said it, but I'll say it again. Make sure you create that advisory team. I always say this, find a person who can become an advisor in what? All those different categories. Who advises you on spiritual matters? Who advises you on academic matters? Who advises you on social matters, right? And get those adults in your life and make them aware of your goals. So they can help you achieve those goals in the face of your problems. Right? Third thing I want to recommend as it relates to making the most out of your high school experience. I want you all to think about something. We're kind of weird creatures, us people. There's a thing called self-talk. Self-talk. Now here's the funny thing. Everything you say, what do you have to do first? You have to what? You have to think it. Exactly. First you have to think it, then you say it, but the weird thing is, then you hear it yourself. You ever heard the term self-fulfilling prophecy? You ever heard that term? This is why we have, in my opinion, so many self-fulfilling prophecies. Because we as people think something, we say it, and we record it back to ourselves. And we convince ourselves, I will never be good at math. It's just not going to happen. And what I found is the more negative is, the more emphasis we put on it. I just won't be good at math. It's just not going to happen. I am just bad at math. No. I am just bad. I stink. That's just the way it is. I stink. If you keep telling yourself you're bad at math, you're making it that much harder to overcome it. Next thing I recommend is this. Find someone you will be accountable to who you don't want to let down, and let them know what your goals are. Maybe someone outside your family. Maybe even somebody outside your school. But a person that you want to make them proud. So when you tell them, this year I'm going to get a 3.5, and when they say, how's your studies going, you just would not want to tell them, I've been slacking up, I've been watching a little bit too much Catfish, I just don't know. There's a trip down show. Hello. I am fine, I am gorgeous. Oh, this one guy, he thought he was going to meet him a beautiful lady. Now let me say something about social media while it's on my mind. WWW stands for World Wide Web. Here's the translation. Listen to me. Anything you post can potentially be seen by everybody in the world. That's how you gotta look at it. Oh, Mr. Young, no, I'm just sending this to my little group. Anything you put on the World Wide Web can potentially be viewed by the whole wide world. So here's my deal with my kids. Nothing negative. Nothing negative, especially about yourself. My son puts something on there. Two shout outs for all ugly people. He ain't even ugly. And even if it was, I'd tell him, don't put that on there. I was just playing, Dad. I was like, dude, Chris Rock is the comedian. You are the freshman in high school. Girls, I'm telling you, dogging somebody out on social media, you just dogged them out for the whole wide world to see it. Who does Becca think she is? Always wearing those shoes that nobody likes but her. And I just can't believe she's even in this group. Everything you put on that World Wide Web can potentially be viewed by the whole wide world. And I've seen too many cases of kids just taking that stuff way too far. All right, let's see another question. How do you manage the expectations that others, especially your parents, have for you? Awesome question. One of the things I find that we got to do more of as people, and especially girls, and I want to say this to you girls. I want you to go into your room. I do. And I want you to enjoy your room. But I do not want you to stay in your room for 17 hours at a time. I want you to come out of your room, and you can do it. Come on out. Come on, honey. Come on out. And I want you to do something that might seem a little bit strange. I want you to start some conversations with your parents. But what I want you to learn how to do as a young woman is, I want you to learn how to talk to your parents about how things make you feel. But also be able to listen to how things make them feel. And one of the things I find about managing expectations is sometimes we have problems with this because we won't talk about it. I'm going to give you what I think is a perfect example. My rule with my kids is this. You never have to agree with me. I'm not raising you to agree with me. I'm raising you based on what our values are, our beliefs are, our code of ethics. But in terms of you agreeing with me on something, you've got to make up your own mind because you're living your own life. But there is one thing that is a major no-no at 836 West Nocturne, and that is disrespecting your mama. You disrespect your mama, you will not know who I am. That's my rule. I'm just telling you me. When you're a parent, you'll have your rules. Now that I'm a parent, this is one of mine. So one day my daughter, we got into something, she did something wrong, we didn't like, and she was like, you don't want me to be perfect. I think you don't want me to be perfect. Time out, sweetheart. Time out. When you say perfect, explain that. Well, I just feel like you want to be perfect, Daddy. I said, okay, tell me what you mean. And after about 10 minutes, she really couldn't come up with one example. Because how could we, as imperfect as we are, want her to be perfect? But what we realized is she didn't want to be corrected in some areas. But here's something she said that was helpful. She said, Daddy, sometimes you'll say things and you'll say it as if you know that's what I meant. And sometimes that's not even what I meant. I said, okay, well, that's good feedback. So rather than tell you what you meant, I'm going to tell you how it made me feel. My point is, girls, if you don't communicate with us as parents, we don't learn. We do a little mind reading, but very little. If it's your teachers and you feel like the expectation from a teacher is too high, you take the initiative and say, sister, I want to talk to you about something. On that last test, last week in class when I responded a certain way, you got to be willing, girls, to talk to people about how the expectations are affecting you. Don't keep it bottled up. I do a lot of work with women who are in the business world. And one of the top talks I do is called What a Woman Has to Do to Get to the Top from a Man's Perspective. And the whole talk for business women is about my observation of women who thrive in different industries. And one of the points I make is women who make it to the top in every industry that I've seen in 30 years since my first internship 30 years ago. One of the things is they are willing to speak up for themselves. They're willing to communicate that they feel something is not fair to them. They're willing to say, I don't know if I understand you here, and they don't go charging out based on assumptions. That's a common thing I see. So for you all as young women, I believe one of the great ways to help deal with expectations is to start that now. Be a person who can speak up. Time-wise.
Yeah, we're kind of, I guess.
All right. Well, girls, I have really enjoyed speaking to y'all.